Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. Well, we hope it's fun. Today we're doing a bottom 5, not something we do quite so often, so hopefully it's not quite so negative. But before we get into that, I'm your host as always, Rick. Joining me equally as always is Devon.
Disregard everything Rick said, it's going to be incredibly negative because we hate Star Wars.
Well, we hate this bit of Star Wars.
Sure.
But before we get too far into that, let's go with our good old time-honored tradition of the non-stop asinine... Non-stop? Let's go with the good old time-honored tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. And what have you got for me today?
You get to put Darth Vader in another universe. What universe do you put him in?
I don't think you'd notice if you put him in Family Guy, because he shows up all the time in fucking cutaway gags. So that's out.
I don't know why your brain goes immediately to Family Guy.
I don't know why either.
Like, you could have just said... By the way, I want to point out to everybody, whenever we're both quiet, that gets automatically cut out during the editing process. Rick doesn't have to speak through the stupid part of his thought process. He could just keep silent.
Yeah. I don't have to give you the Carl Pilkington first thought that comes into my head.
But it's not even a Carl Pilkington first thought, because I don't think Carl Pilkington would say, alright, Darth Vader and Family Guy, innit? Turns out, little monkey fella.
Yeah, little monkey fella. Yeah, little monkey.
I mean, there is a little monkey in Family Guy. You probably love it.
Yeah. It points and everything. It lives in his cupboard. And just like the Flintstones, he probably wouldn't be able to distinguish it from real life, and thinks it's a documentary about this family in America, right?
Yeah, you know, like
little boy. It's got a little monkey in his cupboard, right?
He ain't a little boy though, is he? It's Chris, not Stewie.
Oh, big fat fella, but like 16.
But yeah, for those of you who aren't blessed to know anything about Carl Pilkington, and yes, I'm filling for time while Rick thinks, there's a great thing where, like, you know, back in prehistoric times where humans would wear, like, little bear pants, and the other two podcast hosts would just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's thinking about the Flintstones.
Yep. Thinking that the Flintstones was historically accurate.
They use pelicans as cement mixers in that show.
Yep, yeah, they do.
That
well-known Family Guy version.
That well-known prehistoric material, cement.
Yep. And in Family Guy, they also use them as toilets.
It's the living.
Yeah, and you thought you had a crap job. But yeah, enough fumfering. I'm going to put him in Warhammer 40k and see how he holds up against any of the Primarchs. Spoiler, he doesn't.
Okay, so your answer is, instead of making Darth Vader have the ultimate power fantasy trip, you're going to put him in a universe where he is effectively useless.
Yeah, he's going to be a medium-sized fish in the whole ass ocean.
He's not even a medium-sized fish. He's only medium-sized if you compare him to the Imperial Guard. Apart from that, he's quite shit. Psychers are better than him with the Force. Or, you know, Psyker... The only benefit of the Force is it won't accidentally blow up your own head.
Yeah, or turn you into a demon. And also, you know, I think he'd have a pretty good go against, like, a gene stealer.
Yeah, but that's just...
Like, one gene stealer.
Yeah, one. When is there ever just one?
Yeah. I think there's only ever just one when you're in a single encounter on Space Hulk.
In Rogue Trader, one of the random... well, it's not a random encounter. You have to go to a specific Space Hulk that you're lured to. You encounter Gene Stealers. And then Gene Stealers are so bullshit. There's 3 in total for the encounter, but they make sure there's not more than 1 at a time. Yeah. Or at least if you try to be clever and advance quickly, and you're not... You know, if you're trying to circumnavigate the enemy as opposed to dealing with it, you might trigger additional ones. I think it's like 1 per round, and that would be very annoying. The only benefit, of course, being that Gene Stealers are pure melee. Yeah,
so you could always kite them with your gun fellas.
You can't kite them. It takes them a turn to get to you. Usually, you can't kite them. They're faster than everyone.
Sure. But yeah, what would you pick about this?
Mass Effect.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to see Darth Vader on Shepard's crew.
Yeah, he's just there breathing away and like looking at a picture of Padamame, and Shepard just comes up and starts annoying him. with Paragon quotes.
See, here's the thing, is I don't think Darth Vader would like Shepard regardless of if they're a Paragon or a Renegade. Because, alright, maybe Mass Effect 3 Renegade, because Mass Effect 3 Renegade is just fuck it, kill everything. But Mass Effect 2 Renegade is very much I think the epitome of the original thesis of Renegade is bad cop.
Yeah. That's it. I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head with that Mass Effect 2 was basically the pinnacle of Mass Effect, and it was not just because of the setting. It was because of how other things were portrayed as well. And the Paragade system in that was, oh man, we're talking about something else today.
You're the one going on this tangent. I was going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think Darth Vader could have interesting conversations if people approached him correctly. I think Anakin would show himself a little bit more if he had one conversation with Jack, because they'd have a fucking common theme when it comes to bonding.
Yeah, I get you. And I see him disliking Shepard because either side reminds him too much of himself at different points of his life.
Aye, potentially. But most importantly, I'd want to see a conversation between Darth Vader and Samara.
Yeah.
Because,
come
on, the parallels between the Justicar Code and the Jedi/Sith rule set, of which the Sith one is like the rules are made up and the points don't matter, but still.
Yeah.
Can only be two Sith at any time.
Oh, yes, that's...
It's a rule that has worked once.
Yeah, and it's because of the guy that set it up killed all the others.
Yeah, but then as soon as he was out of the picture, everyone was like, we've all got secret apprentices. What are you on about?
Yeah, like, you can't have an apprentice that is your apprentice when you take out the old master without there being three for at least a moment.
And then you got the fucking Clone Wars saga when Yoda says at the end of Phantom Menace, 2 there is, no more, no less. And it's like, even when he was saying that wasn't true.
Yeah.
If you watch the Clone Wars, it gets real silly, because there's like 7 at one point.
Yeah, like Ventress actually gets a Darth title at one point.
I don't recall that, but go on.
I think in the book, she gets a Darth title.
Books don't count. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Also, let's be honest, I don't count Sith as people called Darth, just because you haven't got the Darth... Like, Darth just means master, according to the Sith lore, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those where anyone trained in the Jedi arts that are evil-leaning are practically Sith. It's why I have a bit... I get it. But I hate having the fucking discussion with the turbo nerd of, actually, the Inquisitors aren't Sith. It's like, yeah, but they are.
Yeah. They're like, they've got red lightsabers, they hunt Jedi, they're bad guys.
Like, I get it. In the technical in-universe definition, and according to Palpatine, they're not Sith, but they're fucking Sith.
Yeah, they're Sith-light.
No, they're Sith. Essentially, they are Sith.
Mm-hmm.
They are bad Jedi. That's all Sith has ever actually meant.
Mm-hmm.
Come at me, turbo nerds. I'm ready. Rick, what's your question?
My one's in a similar vein. It's you get the keys to Star Wars and you have to do a crossover. What do you bring to the Star Wars universe?
I mean, this question doesn't kind of work because I'll just do Mass Effect again, and it's the same as above. Like, what would you do?
Drop the Normandy into the Mass Effect universe.
Well, the Normandy wouldn't be shit in the Star Wars universe. You mean? You know, because it can't fucking do anything because it doesn't have the fucking warp points.
Yeah.
It's
well, I mean, if they're near a planet enough, then they can always, you know, as long as it's inhabited, like install a hyperdrive.
Okay, I don't care. What's your
Sure.
answer? You've thought about it longer.
Nah, mine was just I'd pop a xenomorph in and see what it does.
Nothing. A xenomorph is not effective. Even if you put a xenomorph queen in and there was an entire planet of xenomorphs, it just wouldn't do what you think it would do. It would get completely nullified the moment the Jedi found out about it.
Yeah, like you quarantine that planet and you come back later and get rid of them.
Like, the fundamental thing is that a lightsaber is an annoyingly effective weapon against xenomorphs, not least because, again, one of the reasons why xenomorphs are so threatening is because human weaponry is quite ineffective against them.
Yeah, and the acid blood.
Which, you know, as anyone will tell you, a lightsaber instantly cauterizes a wound, nullifying that problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, the acid blood is quite an issue. Like, it takes a team of hardened Marines, like, it freaks them out to encounter xenomorphs, whereas in Star Wars, like, alien life is just a fucking thing.
Yeah, things that suck. Yeah, it'd just be interesting to see how specifically xenomorphs are encountered and dealt with when people don't know what they're dealing with. But oh well.
But here's the thing, though, is xenomorphs can't speak. They can't mimic things. They are very clearly bestial in nature. Anyone who encounters these in a world that's already got aliens... That's the thing that some people seem to forget. In the alien universe, there are no aliens until they find the xenomorphs.
Yeah, it's just humans.
Yeah. It's very not primitive. That's the wrong word, but very early, a very early setting as far as space travel is concerned. Like, the reason why human crews can even get that far is because they all go into these freeze chambers. Is super simplifying it, but you know, they go into cryogenic sleep and they get woken up when they get near a planet they want to explore.
Yeah. Like the actual time has passed, It's just that they don't know about it because, well, they don't experience it because they were in cryosleep the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think they're as big of a deal in a universe that's already got confirmed alien life, and people have protocols for dealing with this shit. Proper protocols. Again, in the original Alien movie, one of the reasons why everything goes to shit is they don't follow protocol, because of course they don't, because the android leader is on a secret mission.
Yeah.
Spoiler for a fucking 40-year-old movie. Well, older than that, probably.
Yeah. Man, I think Aliens is the only one where the android's not an arsehole.
Yeah, but that's because James Cameron is really good at making sequels.
Yeah. So yes, we're doing a bottom 5 of Star Wars things, series, movies, and my personal caveat is I've only added things that I've actually watched.
I've done the exact same thing, right?
Yeah. We're sharing the brain cell on that, so you're not going to see the holiday special.
Oh God, we should do that for the podcast. Anyway, yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, we totally should, because that would probably bonk something off.
I think we've both picked the same number 1, Rick, based on this information.
Yeah, maybe so. So yes, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, fair enough. That's on my list as well, but it's not my number 5.
Yeah, so the reason why this is so low on my list is because I actually really like Book of Boba Fett, despite it being on my list. I just think it's such a waste of, 1, Boba Fett himself, and 2, this is the worst type of Star Wars where it's not a story, it's, hey, look at this cool thing.
Yeah, it's a lot like The Line for a Ride, where they just show you highlights of things and go, oh yeah, get excited about the thing. And, Cad Bane shows up, he looks awful, and...
Oh, fuck you, I think Cad Bane looks great. As far as translating that character design into real life media, I think they did a bang-up job.
Fair. As a Cad Bane stan, I should really defer to your judgment on that. I just didn't think he looked great, compared to what I'm used to from Cad Bane.
Well, yeah, because he looks really not good, but considering they had to go from the Clone Wars animated style to a guy in a suit...
Yeah.
I think he looks better like that than if they'd have completely CG'd him.
Sure.
Just saying, but that's my own 2 cents. The sheriff re-showing up also felt like an unneeded thing. It felt even more dumb that they quote-unquote killed him off only for the stinger of the series to be actually back to tank, but the thing you've been seeing this entire series.
Yeah, he's been recovering the entire time. There are things in Book of Boba Fett that I liked, and it's possible that I might rewatch it at some point.
I can see myself rewatching this in the background while doing other things. This is not something I would dedicate my entire attention to again.
Yeah.
I feel real bad saying this about Book of Boba Fett, because again, the overall feel was great. The fucking last episode was such a shit show, where it was just, okay, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use an analogy that you probably won't be able to fully appreciate. For that, I apologise. It's like in wrestling, where you've got 2 excellent, perfect, 10 out of 10 wrestlers that everyone likes. Their match should be perfect. And their match is great, it's fun, but then you look back at it and it's just a fucking spot fest.
Yeah.
And then they did this thing, and then they did this thing, and then they did that thing, but there's no real emotion, there's no real story. The final episode is just, here's this epic fight, but it's kind of not, though.
Yeah, because the good guys are going to win.
There is nothing happens to the good guys. They show all the good guys' assist players getting killed off screen, and you're clearly not dead then, and they all show up for the final fight, and it's yay, but it's did a 5-year-old write this?
Yeah.
Sorry, Filoni, but this wasn't good.
Also, apologies to 5-year-olds.
I'm not apologising to 5-year-olds. Their imagination is great, but they don't know the nuance of storytelling.
Nah.
Which I think that sums it up great, isn't it? It's no, the imagination that went into this final episode, great. The storytelling, non-existent.
Oh yeah, it's not just plot holes; it's plot cenotes.
It's not even plot holes; it's just crap.
That Book of Boba showing up again, and take this as pretty much all we're going to say about it, because there's not a lot more to say about it.
In which case, what's your number 5, Rick?
My number 5 it's a bit sour grapes, because I couldn't get through it. It's Season 1 of the Clone Wars.
Okay. Season 1 of the Clone Wars is not good.
Yeah, exactly. So I tried, and I got about 3 or 4 episodes in, and I was like, oh man, this is really kiddie, and I could see myself loving it if I was like 10 years younger.
Here's the thing, Rick, is I watched a lot of Clone Wars by the fact that, hey, when it originally aired, it was on Cartoon Network, and I'd catch it in the mornings occasionally, which means I saw a lot of the good stuff and not a lot of the bad stuff. When Disney Plus came around and they had it all on there, I went, let's watch the first series of Clone Wars and watch it all the way through to the end. Oh, fuck. The first episode is Yoda on a random planet, and there's Ventress talking to the planet leader who looks like a Watto, and and they're just like, I know, let's do a test on the Yoda, let's see if he can get here by downfall, and if he does, we'll just fuck off. And it's like, well, I got 10 minutes in and went, I can't, this isn't good.
Yeah, like, what a waste of Yoda. And then, like, the next episode's like C-3PO, and then you got like a Jar Jar Binks episode or whatever.
But here's the thing, Rick. Yoda shouldn't be doing that.
No, like, that's not a Jedi Master task.
It's definitely not a Yoda task. Yoda being on Kashyyyk makes sense. Yoda is friends with the Wookiees. Him being on a diplomatic mission to a planet that is kind of on the fence makes fuck all sense. I know a lot of people freaked out seeing Yoda do a lightsaber battle. I'm one of the few people who, as a kid, I was like, yeah, Yoda's cool doing flip-de-doos. And I look back as an adult and I go, Yoda should never be shown doing a lightsaber duel.
Yeah. Like, I think it shows a lot more character of Yoda when he's doing his Force duel with Sidious, not his lightsaber bit.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense a bit. They're trying to establish that Count Dooku, yes, is a match for Yoda Force-wise, although it's kind of implied that it's because Yoda cares a bit too much about the life around him, whereas Count Dooku could not give a fuck, and that's sort of the balancing factor there. But, you know...
Yeah. So, Season 1 of the Clone Wars, specifically Season 1, like, I'm sure things beyond that are better, to the point that, I watched the final season, having basically had a Cliff Notes version of events from in between. I saw the movie when it first came out. I thought, this is all right. I can see this has got legs. I'm aware that people like Ahsoka because of her character development.
Well,
but
Ahsoka's character development didn't really happen for like 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that.
Oh yeah, it's very easy to look back on it with rose-tinted glasses, because you see where it ends and you know that this is coming. You know that she's not just going to remain Scrappy-Doo the entire time.
And I will just say this, and this is me being sour grapes, it is a bit weird that Filoni worked so hard just to get his fucking OC to be like, no, she was everywhere during every major part of Star Wars, fuck you. I'm not wrong.
Yeah, true enough.
I don't care because Ahsoka's cool. I do like the character, but at the end of the day, the reason why she's cool is because Filoni goes, "No, she was everywhere and did everything. You just didn't know." I'm like, okay, buddy.
And also, like, she was in a 3-way call between something that we saw as a 2-way call. Oh man. So, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sure. Like, I liked it more than you did. So it didn't make my list.
The only thing I liked about this was the final fight scene, and I had a fucking go at Acolyte for this, where I don't think Star Wars should be all about the light. If the only cool thing in your Star Wars show or movie is the lightsaber fight, you fucked up.
Yeah, I get you. And it wasn't just the lightsaber fight either. It was like showing how far Kenobi himself had come from being a broken man to he's back, when he just like stands there like Space Jesus and throws rocks.
I don't think there should have been an encounter between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader before the Death Star.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like, within the confines of the show, it makes sense that they came to blows, but I think it probably would have been stronger storytelling if they never met.
Yeah, like, for real. I believe we did do a retro on Obi-Wan Kenobi, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, we did.
Again, one of my biggest gripes was the halfway point at the end of episode 3, where Darth Vader was like, "Oh, pick him up. We're going to take him to my ship and fuck him up." And it's just like, this doesn't feel like Darth Vader.
No, like,
if Darth Vader at that point, because Obi-Wan was surrounded by fire and effectively contented. If Darth Vader had gone, cool, he's now going to burn to a crisp like I did, that I could believe Anakin being petty enough to do.
Yes, yeah, I get that. But yeah, it stinks of kid writing to allow Obi-Wan to live at that point. And obviously we know he's gonna, because there's the rest of the season to come out, and it's not called, like, Young Leia.
I did hear a rumour that originally it was going to be Maul, but even that would have been bad.
Yeah.
Again, it wouldn't have made any sense, especially with the epic send-off, quite frankly, perfect send-off he got in that one episode of Rebels.
Yes, where, like, the duel is, like, 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's real fucking samurai movie shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's so many homages to, Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's just... Yeah, I don't know, man. It just wasn't a fun time. Like, the lightsaber fight in episode 6, fucking cool, no complaints. It was weird that Luke saw a red lightsaber, but never really committed it to memory, but I guess he was a kid, whatever. And the Qui-Gon Jinn moment at the end was very cool, although very clearly only happened because Liam Neeson said, I can be in it. I'm glad it isn't getting a season 2. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Book of Boba, and we went through pretty much
I thought it was going to be a lot higher on your list.
No. It's number 1 is the worst.
Yeah, I think we've got the same number 1.
Yeah. My number 3 is something that's not going to be on your list.
Oh, okay, so it's one of the sequels.
Yeah, it's one of the sequels that you've not watched.
Oh, the one.
Yeah. So, Book of Boba, it had legs, it had things that were good about it. There are even whole entire episodes that didn't need to be in the Book of Boba Fett, because they were literally not Boba Fett episodes.
Oh, you mean the one called The Return, or The Mandalorian, I think it was called, actually, just straight up.
Yeah, it's like The Return of the Mandalorian. Yeah. Like, that didn't have any Boba in it, apart from, like, at this stinger where he just, like, came like, I'm here.
I just want to point out, I remember when that episode came out, because you hadn't started watching Book of Boba at all yet, and I said, when you watch Book of Boba, don't look at the episode titles.
Yes. You told me about this. So,
like,
yes.
Yeah, Mandalorian's episode fucking spoilt what that one was going to be about.
Yes. So, Book of Boba, I'll probably rewatch, like, Mando 1 and 2, or, like, abridge it for myself, like, skipping over, like, the taxi episode or whatever. Book of Boba, I'm going to have to abridge it a lot more to watch my own personal highlights from this. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Acolyte.
Okay. I didn't hate this quite as much as you did. I'm definitely watching season 2.
I'm also watching season 2. I'm interested to see what they do, but I think Acolyte season 1 was a pile of crap. And honestly, you told me at the end that the director cast her wife as Green Lady, and I'm like, that kind of sucks. It just stinks of nepotism.
Okay, I get it, but like, I think she did a decent job and was underused as a character.
Oh yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think she did a good job whenever she was on screen, and there was a lot of times I was like, why isn't season 1 focusing on her? And then and then that revelation's just like, it feels like season 2 is going to focus a lot on her, and they didn't want people to focus on her during the first season, so people didn't question the casting choice.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I feels it. And also, like, they gave her this weak source weakness of, she gets a headache when she goes in hyperspace, and that's why she doesn't do things.
Yeah, which I don't think is a thing that any other character has been affected by ever.
Yeah.
Because it's almost as if it doesn't actually affect people that way, because you don't feel the fucking movement inside the ship. But who fucking gives a fuck? The rules are made up and the points don't matter. A phrase I've used so many times during the Acolyte review.
Yeah, totally.
I really liked Soul. I really liked... I've forgotten his fucking name, Q.
Oh, Quimir, yeah.
Quimir. I almost said Quibum again, and I knew it was wrong, and I didn't want to embarrass myself. They're very cool. The main characters sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the twins. The flashbacks were stupid. The second flashback made sure the first flashback was even dumber. I just want to see Quimir fight Green Lady.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a problem. The only thing I care about is a lightsaber fight.
Yeah. Multiple lightsaber fights.
No, I just want to see the one.
Yep. The good one again, yeah.
I don't give a fuck about... What other characters are there that have a lightsaber that I give a fuck about? Osha. I don't give a fuck about Osha.
Yeah, Osha.
I cared about Osha because Soul cared about her, and look what that got him.
Yeah, it got him force choked.
What's your number 3, Rick? Although you kind of spoiled it for me, but not so much the audience.
Yeah, number 3 is Rise of Skywalker, the finale of the sequel trilogy. I didn't like it very much. It had good things that were spectacles, but the story was stupid. And it always had to be stupid. Like, they were piecing together, not only were they piecing together bits of script that they had and ideas that they had, but they were also piecing together, like, footage that they had of Carrie Fisher, which I don't think was the best choice.
It's interesting, really, in hindsight, because she died not long before the second film came out. So why didn't they just fucking edit that? That, oh no, she doesn't survive space, but by magic bullshit force powers, she died.
Yeah. Like, yeah, she does the thing in space. The force thing that she's trying to do succeeds, apart from the fact that she doesn't.
Yeah. Like, I feel slightly bad talking about it, because, like, it's not fucking Carrie Fisher's fault.
No, she was doing what she was paid for, which was to milk nostalgia.
Like, for real. Like,
yeah.
Like, Harrison Ford was I know Harrison Ford's had issues with Han Solo since, like, day 2, but, Harrison Ford was correct. Oh, just kill me off in the first new movie. It's like, are you sure? I don't give a fuck, pay me.
Yeah, money, dear boy. There were some cool moments, like Palpatine going full-on max-level wizard and, like, force lightning in an entire fleet. That looked cool. But you can just sum up how shit the movie was with the opening line of, somehow Palpatine has returned.
That was fucking Poe saying that as well, wasn't it?
No, I think it was in the crawl.
Really?
Yeah.
All the memes I've seen have been Poe saying it.
Okay.
It could have been both, don't get me wrong. I've not seen the fucking film, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I will take the word of my co-host Rick, because he's actually seen it.
Yeah, but by the same token, it's... I've watched The Force Awakens again. I've not watched the other two again. So my memory on it is from me going and sitting in the movie theatre and watching it and going, I feel contractually obliged to have enjoyed this, however... And yeah, I got vindicated by the rest of the universe also not really enjoying it.
I mean, they fucked. They just fucked. They're so fucked.
Yeah. Number 2.
My number 2 is me cheating super hard. However, I feel vindicated because you listed one season of the Clone Wars, so I feel like I can get away with this.
Sure.
My number 2 is Tales of the Jedi, but specifically the Ahsoka half.
Yeah, it didn't need to exist because, like, we saw how good the Dooku half was, and yeah, more of that, please. Like, even if you don't do Dooku, then just do some, like, more young Qui-Gon.
It's just like, for fuck's sake, the entirety of the Clone Wars is Ahsoka's story.
Yeah, you don't need to show her being 5.
They didn't even show her being 5. They showed her being like 3 months.
Yeah, like super baby, and then, yeah.
There was no words in English in that fucking show. They spoke alien language for a bit, but I don't think they bothered translating it because no one gave a fuck. And it was just like, oh, by the way, Ahsoka's super force sensitive. She can talk with the animals. And it's like, cool, is she fucking Dr. Doolittle?
Yeah.
No one gave a fuck. We get it. Ahsoka's the special baby girl because Filoni loves his little orange OC, and that's fine. That sounds vaguely racist, but it's not. And like, this one of the episodes is just Anakin training her against clones. And it's like, yeah, we know she could deal with clones. We watched the fucking Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Last episode is kind of cool because it's a bit cowboy western, but it's still like just more of the same shit. And it's like, why did you dedicate 3 episodes to... Oh, because Filoni's running the fucking show. I forgot. Sorry. I love Filoni. I think he's one of the best things that happened to Star Wars, but fucking stop it with Ahsoka, apart from stuff that's relevant to Ahsoka. We've seen her backstory. Let's see new shit.
Yes. Like, we know all we need to know of the backstory by the fact that she's a young Padawan who hasn't had her personality beaten out of her yet. And that's established the moment she's introduced.
What's your number 2, Rick? I'm tired. That was a really tiring outburst. I apologise.
Yeah. My number 2 was the Battle for Endor, and the Caravan of Courage would have showed up here, but we watched the Battle for Endor. It was
a movie.
It had.
Rick, let me just cut you short very quickly. My number 1 is Ewoks Battle for Endor, so we're going to talk about. We'll both chime in here.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, there were redeeming features of it, but they spent far too much time on the fast thing, and
I don't think there was any redeeming features. This Star Wars film had no Star Wars in it.
Oh yeah. It would be so good to get some Star Wars in this Star Wars movie. I think is what you said.
Yeah, exactly. The only Star Wars thing, okay, Wicket was in it. That's a Star Wars thing. Big tick, no problem there. I actually quite like Warwick Davis. I think he's a nice guy. However, they didn't even have the Star Wars blaster sound effects. Who edited this movie?
Yeah, and now apparently it's officially a prequel, and Ewoks can speak English, and they lost this ability.
Oh yeah. We looked it up. This is before. This is meant to be set before Return of the Jedi, which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, it makes way more sense for it to be afterwards. but, like, weird. Like, I mean, it being afterwards is a good reason for them not to eat the humans on the spot.
Yeah, and the fact that it's before now makes it even weirder that they were so game for eating the humans the next time.
Yeah.
They coexisted with kids. There was a baffling thing during our specific react and review to it where we were very confused how come the kid knew her whole family was dead. And then you did a bit of research and said, in the previous film it was established that wristwatch thing it tracked their life force energy, and when the light went out, that means they died. And it's like, cool, would have been fucking cool if they explained that.
Yeah, but apparently they just assumed that you watched the other movie.
Which fucking no one did.
Which is why they assumed that you cared about the family, which, okay, it was sad when they died, but, like, I thought that this was the only one of the two.
Yeah, I thought it was a brand new cast. Well, of course we would. Like, why would we think it had anything to do with the last one? But, yeah, it's very fucking weird. And also, what a weird thing to have on you at all times. I've got this watch. If the light goes out, my family's dead.
Yep. It's not even a phone. It's just, are you dead?
Which would make sense if they're if they're constantly in danger, but they're apparently living on Endor rather peacefully with the Ewoks. By the way, why is there a fucking evil fortress on this planet?
Yeah. And a Night Sister.
Yeah.
Who gets stuck as a raven or whatever it was.
And you said they retconned that into her being a Night Sister, didn't you?
Yeah, they retconned her into being a Night Sister. So she's, like, canonically the first Night Sister on screen.
And she's the best thing about this movie, and not because of her acting ability, but because she's so fucking hot.
Yeah.
And it feels really bad to be like, what's the good thing about this movie? It has one really attractive lady in it dressed in full goth garb. And I'm sorry, that just activates a monkey part of my brain.
Yeah. The villainess is a MILF.
I was watching it and I was thinking, fuck, this is just Morrigan, like, squared. Oh, by the way, if you take her ring off her, she can't transform anymore. Oh, by the way, even though she was super down for betraying the bad guys and potentially doing a face turn, no, she's going to switch back to the evil team, even though the evil guy seems to have threatened her life, which...
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it would have made so much more sense for her to have teamed up against the evil guy with the good guys at that point.
Yeah, like, not even a face turn, just, you threatened to kill me several times, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, she demonstrated multiple times she was much more powerful than her raider weird alien allies, and yet she was still under their thumb, even though she could just fuck off at any time.
Like, I think the idea was that because the main guy could just, like, pick her up by the neck, that she was felt threatened by that, despite the fact that she could just turn into something like a bee, sting his hand, and fuck off.
To be fair, canonically, the only thing we were shown was she can turn into a raven. Oh,
sure.
Wait, and she could turn into a horse. Never mind, fuck it, I don't
be
know.
Horse. Yeah, she could be raven and horse.
Which implies that she can transform into many things and just chose not to.
Yeah. So, yes, your number one is also this.
Yeah, this movie's weird. It feels like George Lucas wrote a fantasy script and then decided, this isn't going to sell, we need to make it Star Wars.
Yes, like, yeah, how do we make more money out of this? We tell children that it's, we tell parents that it's Star Wars, and then they bring the kids, and then we make the money. And then we make another.
Jesus, like, George Lucas really desperately needed, like, Harrison Ford on set to just read the script and go, what the fuck are you doing, George?
You can write this, George, but you can't make us say it.
Like, that's just it. I don't think anyone on set was like, oh, this is not good. And the thing is they seem to be very proud of this, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Sorry for anyone who worked on this. Costuming, you did fine. You've got nothing to worry about. Even though we could see some zippers on the Ewok suit. Whatever, I'm going to look over that. You did a fairly good job. Set dressing, you did great. Don't know why you built a castle, but I'm going to blame George Lucas.
Yes. I think they had a castle and they wanted to use it.
Oh, Jesus. And, like, and just the biggest star in this, as far as we could tell, is Wilford Brimley. And immediately after watching, you were the most confused about the Wilford Brimley. I was just running to roll with it because I wanted to just wipe my hand of this mess. You did some research and said George Lucas literally recruited him for the film because he watched another film he was in and thought, yes, let's do that again.
Yeah. It was basically, I liked what this actor had as chemistry with a younger character, and he wanted that same dynamic in his movie.
God awful shit.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch the one that came before it.
Yeah.
Which, according to you, again, big props to Rick, because Rick did more research than I could ever be fucking asked to do on this trash, where immediately after the film, he did a bit of an IMDb dive and looked up some articles, and was just like, apparently this is the better of the two.
Yeah. So this one, I think the phrasing they give it on TV tropes is so okay it's average. Like, it's not Star Wars, and it's not gonna make it is gonna make you think like you've wasted some time of your life watching it, but you're not gonna feel like it's not like watching a YouTube poop for 2 hours.
Yeah,
whereas the other one, yeah.
But here's the thing, is people are going to pay for YouTube poop soon because Michael Bay has the rights to Skibbity Toilet. I don't know what that is.
What? Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've never seen anything to do with this meme. I know it's a meme because it's relevant again. And you posted, I can't remember if it was you or someone else who posted the link. And I was like, oh, I just ignored it. And then 5 minutes later, someone else said something and it's like, oh, it's going to be like a $2 million budget. Here's Michael Bay's tweet about it. And I'm like, I thought this was a joke.
By the way, $2 million is nothing for a movie.
Okay, I realised that, but it's also Skibbity Toilet.
Yeah. Like, the person who makes it in Steam Filmmaker, or Source Filmmaker, like with Gary's mod things.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that this week on for you guys listening on Monday, because that's made the news again. But anyway, I digress. Ewoks Battle for Endor is not a good movie. You shouldn't watch it, unless you're watching it specifically to listen along with us, as we're confused and baffled, and we get angry halfway through at Wilford Brimley for no real reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Rick. I'm genuinely curious because by the sounds of things, it's not going to be a repeat. So, what have you put as your number one?
It's The Last Jedi, the middle one of the 3 sequel movies.
I watched this.
And So, this is the first time I've watched a Star Wars movie and gone, I really kind of didn't like that, because they took every single plot thread they had and just put them all in a blender and flushed what they blended together down the toilet.
I mean, I think, okay, listen, I watched 2 of the 3 sequel films because those were the 2 that were out when I went to hang out with a mutual friend of ours, Rick. You know who they are. We won't mention their name. They had a relative who worked on the movies, just to narrow it down a little bit more for you, in case you weren't sure who I was talking about. And they said, you should really watch them. And I was like, I don't want to. They look bad. And then it was just like, I've got a free house. I've got a big TV. My dogs are here. I've got nothing to do. Do you want to watch this is him saying it, not me. And he said, do you just want to do it? And I went, okay. So we watched the first one, and I went, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I don't think it was a good movie, but it was okay. And I watched this one, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. Like this retroactively was the one that made you not watch the third one, I assume.
Well, again, the third one was due out at the end of that year because they were running advertisements. I believe I watched these 2 movies because my friend was hoping that it would make me want to see it with him in the cinema. And he had other people to go with, so that wasn't an issue. And I was just like, I don't want to fucking pay to watch this. Yeah, you could see kind of like the decline in optimism for me, because I went from wanting to go to the midnight premiere of Revenge of the Sith and missing out on it and feeling so super bummed out, actually going to the midnight premiere of The Force Awakens and going, Revenge of the Sith was better, to not even bothering wanting to do it for this or the next one. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, there were some things that could have been cool. Like, they showed Evil Rey in the trailer, but yeah, that's just a cheese dream that they have.
Yeah, that's just it. It's like, I heard that a lot, is a lot of the things that people were excited for were like bait and switches.
Yes, which is just Rian Johnson through and through. Like, he's such an infuriating person to, like, know about.
Oh dear.
But oh well. Like, I'm sure he's a decent guy. I'm sure he has decent ideas that he could do things with, but the things that he did to Star Wars, none of it landed.
I mean, yeah, as far as I'm aware, like, again, it feels really mean judging the sequel trilogy, because as far as I'm aware, and I might be incorrect, so please correct me if that's the case, like, they had 3 different directors, and all the directors had different visions, and I have to assume they had 3 different sets of writing teams.
Yeah, essentially. The script for the third movie had to get thrown out because the director either left or was fired, and that's when the first director had to come back and piece things together, because he knew what he'd set up and was scrambling to pull it back together. And this is someone who, like, famously doesn't even like Star Wars.
He was this J.J. Abrams?
Yeah.
That's really annoying as well, because people were really impressed with what he did with Star Trek.
Yeah. The difference is he likes Star Trek.
I guess, right?
Yeah. yeah.
What is it with these sci-fi directors who fucking love a franchise but hate other ones, and they just get put on the wrong one?
Yeah, exactly. Like I've got an auntie who's a Trekkie, and when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh no, Star Trek. Well, I like Star Wars. We can never be friends." Like that's exactly the kind of thing that you think when you're 6. So.
Well, man, yeah, absolutely, man. Tribalism is real, and it's most emphasized when you're fucking free.
Yeah.
Like they had the exact opposite problem with Star Trek Discovery, because they had a director who knew fuck all about sci-fi directing and leading. I didn't watch that show. I don't give a fuck about Star Trek, but I've read up about the issues. And he's famously quoted as saying, "Can't we get more money?" It's like, what? No, we've got the budget. Yeah, but I haven't got a movie coming out or something, so can't we just take money from that? And it's like, he was thinking of Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
Oh, Belland.
Like, for real, man, it's part of your fucking job.
It's got Star in it. There must be sequels to each other.
Exactly.
They go on a trek, and then they run into some problems, and then they have a war.
I mean, I guess, right? That would be the logical conclusion. Don't forget the Stargate people are like the mediators between Star Trek and... There you go. They went on a trek. They found the gate. They started a war over the gate.
Yep. Boy, that would be the episode title if we did episode titles for these.
But yes, for those listening, I had a bit of a Discord blip halfway through, so I think we're getting a bit of a lag now on our talk, so I'm going to prompt Rick to do the outro.
Okie dokie. If you liked the episode, you've got the comment section down below on YouTube. And if you're listening via one of the many audio platforms instead, you can instead send an email to...
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Yeah, as always, you got the comment section down below. Oh, fuck, I've done that bit.
You did.
This has literally just done it. So, it's going to be a goodbye from me.
And it's going to be a goodbye from him. Goodbye.